Hi, this is my presentation on Our House is on Fire, which is a speech held by Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg is a 16-year-old climate change activist, and she started the school strike protests, which have become huge all over the world. She is known for her impressive communication skills, and she has held a lot of speeches for a lot of politicians and people and young people, and she has basically inspired this whole movement for the climate, which is really cool. And she has also talked a lot about her Asperger's diagnosis, which she describes how it plays a huge part as to why and how interested she is in this problem. And yeah, she talks about how it makes her see the problem much more black and white compared to a lot of other people like politicians and stuff like that. I want to read a little part of the speech. Adults keep saying that we owe it to the young people to give them hope. But I don't want your hope. I don't want to be hopeful. I want you to panic. I want you to feel the fear that I feel every day. And then I want you to act. I want you to act as if you would in a crisis. I want you to act as if the house was on fire, because it is. Yes. Right, so the situation is that we literally have less than 12 years to make up for the mistakes that we made and fix the climate problems. Greta Thunberg says that Homo sapiens have never faced a bigger problem than climate change, and it's going to be the biggest challenge ever. But the solution to this problem, however, is so simple that a small child could understand it. We're facing a disaster of unspoken sufferings for enormous amounts of people, and now it's not the time for speaking politely. She really just wants all people to know about this, and it has to be said not politely, not sugar-coated or any different than what it is. It has to be said clearly, and everyone has to know. And the only solution to this problem is that we stop the greenhouse gases emissions. We can't be hindered because of politics or money or anything else. And that's what has been kind of delaying the solution for this problem until now. But now that we have a young person who doesn't have money to lose or fame or power to lose, like Greta Thunberg, there's someone talking about it. And a lot of young people are really upset and are trying to make the politicians listen and understand. And there's definitely happening a lot of things. And so her solution is really just that we have to somehow cut our greenhouse emissions in half. And either we do that or we don't. It's literally black or white. We either do it or we don't. So his central message or slogan is "Our house is on fire" in this speech, which I'll be talking a little bit more about later. But obviously here the house is the earth, and the earth is suffering, and we need to save it before it's too late. So there is this danger that the society that we're heading towards, if we don't change, that's not secure. And then we have security, which is the society if we change. And that's obviously what she wants. In the start of the... throughout the whole speech, she uses we as pronoun, but in the end, the part I just read up, she uses I, as to speaking directly to the reader or the politicians, the audience, the people the speech is meant for, which is the people with influence. And the middle ground. So, as I talked about before, there is literally no middle ground when talking about climate change, according to her. It's either we do it or we don't, and that's also kind of polarizing because some people might think that we can just spare some money here and try to cut the climate change a little bit and then just still keep on having our big factories or making money on something that is polluting the world. And so this is really polarizing between the people who believe in climate change and want to do something about it, and the people who are either not believing or too greedy to do something about it. Because the bigger your carbon footprint is, the bigger your responsibility is, and the bigger your platform is, the bigger your responsibility is. She says this in the speech. Because either we fix it or we die. Right. So she uses a lot of logos to appeal to the logic. Because it's really a logical problem. We fix it or we don't. And she also uses pathos. She appeals to the emotions. By comparing the earth to a house, she's saying that the earth is our home and we really need to protect it. And that is definitely appealing to the emotions. And also ethos, she says that the people with bigger power and more money and a higher status, they have a bigger responsibility to be ethical and do something about climate change, because those are the people who can really do something about it. Right. So we have some dichotomies, which I just chose 3. Survival and death, action, doing nothing, hope, and panic. So these 3 dichotomies are kind of similar, but still not exactly the same. But she is really doing a dramatic speech, and a lot of these dichotomies make it a very, very pathos and very emotional. I don't know. And also the thing with the house, which has to do with these 3 last things. So the name of the speech, Our House is on Fire, is a metaphor, and it's also repeated, and it's also storytelling. Because the metaphor is that the house obviously is the earth, and we have to take care of it. And she says it in the beginning and the end of the speech. So that's repetition, and then the storytelling. It is kind of a story. Yeah. So I hope you kind of enjoyed this. I'm sorry it became very long, but I just really like this speech. Cool.